Thank you, and welcome. Welcome back to Chaos TV, and thank you for once again tuning in. This, of course, is part 2 of the draft special. This is going to be a look at what I think SmackDown needs. Also, what some of the guys they're not using that, could possibly go in the draft or something. Anyway, I've got 4 guys who made the cut here. These 4 guys are just 3 of them. I think could just benefit to being on SmackDown. The 4th guy, I think SmackDown would benefit by him being on it. Ted DiBiase, John Morrison, and Daniel Bryan, guys that could step in and learn how to be main event guys on. And with Ted DiBiase, maybe replace a Kofi Kingston and a Cody Rhodes as far as mid-card talent. But John Morrison definitely, Daniel Bryan probably replace like a Kofi. But Morrison, they need that star power. They need that main event type guy. And with him being in the main event at Extreme Rules in a week, I think that makes a lot of sense. My 4th guy, Randy Orton. Because they're just in a spot right now where they got to have people. They got to have somebody that's going to be a big draw for SmackDown. And off of Raw, they don't need to get rid of Miz. They don't need to get rid of John Cena. They don't need to get rid of CM Punk. But they need a big baby face. So they need to have, I think, Randy Orton jump over and kind of fill that spot. I can't think of anybody better to do it. A lot of people would say, Cena, we don't want him on Raw. Yeah, but do you not watch SmackDown too? Well, yeah, but, we just don't want him on Raw. Shut up, you fucking stupid. I think these 4 guys, I think it'd be a great addition to SmackDown to have these 4 guys. Daniel Bryan, could go and, get both undercard titles and bring some pure wrestling back to the Intercontinental title, which I absolutely love. Now, as far as the guys and such that they're not using, Chavo Guerrero, and that's Chavo Jr., by the way, Kurt Hawkins, JTG, and Tyler Rex. Of course, Caitlyn and Rosa Mendez as far as the Divas go. The jobbers that they got, Chris Masters and Trent Beretta. I have said, and I have been of the mindset for the last couple of months, ever since right before the Royal Rumble. For those of you who followed and kept up on the previous channel, I made a pretty bold statement. And I said that this was going to be Chris Masters' year to make it or break it. So far, it's not gone really well. But that's because they were building to WrestleMania. Now that WrestleMania is over, maybe he can kind of slide in up under the radar. He has been on TV, though. At least he's been on TV, and he's gotten exposure, and he's gotten ring time, and not just ring time, but TV ring time. So, all things are looking good. I think maybe he'll be in not a major part of the pay-per-view, but a significant part of a pay-per-view coming up sometime this year. Hopefully he'll be in a title match on a pay-per-view, maybe the Intercontinental title, which, Chris Masters has never been the Intercontinental Champion. I think it would be a good spot for him to test the waters, to see how well he could do. Because when you put a title on somebody, it means that that they're carrying a lot of the shows as far as TV and pay-per-view. So put the title on him and see how it works. If it don't work, you can fire him. It's not like you haven't done it before already once. Anyway, and Trent Beretta, I think I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. He got an upset victory over Drew McIntyre not too long ago, but anyway. So as far as SmackDown goes, not a whole lot talking, but as you notice, Raw has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7 people that they're not using that they should be, or they should find a spot for. And SmackDown has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So really, it's pretty almost even. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody on SmackDown. David Hart Smith, which I think isn't he on? Maybe he's on Raw. I don't know, because I don't ever see him. I mean, there's been talk of the 2 world champions changing brands, with The Miz and Del Rio winning at Extreme Rules and him changing. I don't like the idea, and because Del Rio's already established on SmackDown, and Miz is like must-see WWE champion. So the switch would work for a little while. I think Miz is more of a draw than people give him credit for, because The Miz is kind of like The Miz is an old school heel. People will pay money to see him get his ass kicked, and that's just kind of how it is. I don't like it, but I think that it makes more sense of them doing it because I don't like it, and that's just the God's honest truth about it. For those of you who've kept up with me for an extended period of time, you know that usually when I'm really dead set against something and I absolutely hate it and I wish they wouldn't do it, that's when they usually do it. That's when they usually say, okay, we're going to do this, and screw what everybody thinks, especially Chris Chaos, because he doesn't know anything. And even though time and time I've proved that I do know. So regardless of what they think, whoever the fuck they are, I know my shit. So that's all that matters. These 4 guys, perfect. Now, these are not predictions by no means. I'm not predicting that this is what happens. I'm just saying this would be what I would do if I was in that situation. Those 4 guys. The rest, because there's probably going to be like 6 and 6 or 7 and 7, and then the supplemental draft. You got to go through all that stuff. So the rosters could be totally different by this time next week. So who knows what's going to happen? I have no clue. If anybody off of the Raw and SmackDown list that I would put money on, I would say Jack Swagger going to Raw, and I would say, because I think they're going to use him with Cole and they're going to push him, and I would say Randy Orton going to SmackDown. That would be my guarantees if I was going to make them. However, those are not guarantees. I'm not going out on that limb. I might, when I do my Raw prediction or my Raw preview video on Monday. But right now, we're not going to go that far. We're not going to let it happen. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about the draft. And we shall see how things will play out. Big ups to everybody that's been subscribing here lately. Much love, gracias, mi amigos, and senoritas too, if you're of the female persuasion, which I always dig, always, because Chaos loves the ladies. Okay, that was cheesy. Anyway, Chaos is done. I have spoken. I am out. You throw up the deuce, and let's just see what happens, people. Let's just see what.